Here we are backstage at Rapture in Leeds with Boom Jinx from one of our favorite labels on Beats. And of course he has his tour for his wonderful latest album. But we want to go back in time. When did you start your career then?
Ooh, that's a long time ago. I started in, I don't remember the year. I was 16 at the time, I'm 41 now, so do the math. I was a young man. I think the first time I got a paid job doing music was for a video game in the States. It was for the Commodore Amiga computer. That was my calling. Once I did that, it was no turning back, no going back. That was my thing. I've been doing music ever since.
And you have been associated with Untitled Chapter. How it happened to meet with Above and Beyond?
Actually, I met Jono online for those who remember IRC, which stands for Internet Relay Chat. Nerd much?
Yeah.
And we hooked up there, and this is long before Above and Beyond and Untitled Chapter came to be. This is actually before he met Pablo. Yeah, we were chatting and we were just geeking out, and we became friends there, and we stayed in touch. He started in Untitled Chapter and met Pablo at university. I sort of went into the whole media thing, the video games and commercials on film and TV and all that stuff, and he pursued an artist career and had success as Above and Beyond. At some point I got sick of just doing music for everyone else but me, and I sent him a demo when he had Untitled Chapter up and running, and they signed my first ever 4/4 track on Untitled Deep back in God knows when, 2006 maybe.
And how it was called, that track?
The first one was called Come Play Perfect.
How was the reactions you got from the public?
It was good. It was surprisingly good. It was very motivating. It was the first time I really got a proper taste of being an artist, and it was very inspiring to do something for someone else and actually have an audience and see some live actual reactions to what I was doing. So I kept doing it.
Would you like to mention some of the rest of your releases before this album?
That's a good question. I don't know. I try to change it a little bit, but you mean
the
like different
classics.
Well, 2 to 6 comes to mind, but I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I have a hard time listening to my own stuff. Once I'm done with the track, I just
don't want to listen anymore.
No, I don't. Which is strange, especially for the crowd sometimes. But yeah, that's how it is. So I don't know. 2 to 6 probably. Milana was very popular at the time. But it's a tough question, man. I mean, like, you have a strange relationship to your songs, whether you like them or not. But I sort of distance myself a little bit from the tracks when I'm done with them, to be honest. So I don't know.
Why you decided that it's time to release a whole album with songs from you?
Well, it's an old decision. To be honest with you, I think the agreement itself, the paperwork from Untitled Chapter is signed 9 years ago. But the material that was intended for the first batch, the first songs, they never made it to the album. So it changed a lot over time. But the oldest tracks on the album are 7 years old. So it took a long time. To answer your question, it was a decision that was made a long time ago, and it took a long time to finish it. So whether or not it was a good decision, I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. But yeah, it took a while. It really did.
The result is wonderful, though. You have wonderful collaborations with great singers. Have you met them, or all of them have sent you the material after or via internet? How you work with your vocalists?
Usually by internet. I send them a backbone and then say they write an idea, and I work on that, and we usually do things without actually meeting in person. I met some of them, but not to record, not to work together. That usually happens over the internet, so and it works. So.
And are you happy with the result that you get usually with your collaboration with your vocalists?
Well, I don't let it go until I'm happy with it, so it has to be okay when it's finished, or I'm unable to sleep at night. So sometimes we do things over and change things and fix things and so forth, but yeah, usually I'm happy with it. So, and they're very talented singers or songwriters as well. So
how long it takes you to produce one track, and how long it took you to produce tracks from this album? Some of them were produced very quickly, others much more slower?
A bit of both, but I'm not the fastest producer. I take my time with tracks. So in many cases it really took a while. It really did. But I think the longest track took me a year. And the worst thing is I'm not even kidding. But it usually takes like a couple of months.
And would you like to tell us a little bit about the process of producing? From which parts do you start usually when the melody comes in?
These days I usually start with a musical foundation. I write chords and harmonies, and so I have the musical backbone, the idea for the song itself, and then take it from there. Back in the day, in the earlier days of Boom Jinx, I did more beats and drums and basses and just the groove really, and now I do the opposite. I do the music first and then I just put stuff over that, so the whole kind of production is tailored made for the musical idea.
Are we going to see more singles coming out with remixes from this album? Are you going to release a remixed edition of the album? What are the plans for the future?
I have a new single coming out very soon, very soon. I can't say because it's not official yet, but very soon. And that will be from the album with some killer remixes, and I'm doing my own club interpretation of it on top of an extended version from the album.
Do you choose personally the remixers, or usually these are left to the label?
Usually a little bit of both. They'll be asking me, who do you want? Do you have any ideas for who you could? Well, yeah, you get the idea. And we usually just agree on a list, and we check with the remixers to see if they're interested in doing it, and if they are, then yay. So that's usually how it works.
For one of your tracks with Maor Levi, you had a wonderful music video. Any more music videos coming for your releases?
I don't know. It's one of those things you got to justify it with a budget. They're expensive to make. It has to be quite successful to justify the budget for production of a music video. So it's not one of those things you can plan ahead. If a track does really well, you know, it might happen, so we'll see. It's not something that I strive for. It's not that important to me, but it's a great bonus if it happens.
Let's talk a little bit about your DJ career. Did you start your DJ career after your production career, or things started at the same time?
I have been producing for 25 years, maybe 26. I'm getting old. The DJ thing came after I had some success with Boom Jinx. I don't think I have done any DJing prior to 2008. So I'm not one of those guys who grew up with 2 CDJs or vinyls and all that stuff. So it came after, definitely, yeah.
And who teach you to, or did you teach yourself?
Like with everything else, self-taught.
You have played in many big festivals, and you play now in a wonderful club here in Leeds. What is your approach in the various places that you play?
Well, it varies a little bit depending on how big the venue is, what kind of stuff I currently like to play. So there is no like fixed recipe for that, to be honest. But of course, a club has a different kind of vibe than a festival. So, but you know what? Sometimes I find that the same set, same recipe, same content works for both situations. But it varies a little bit. But I don't really have a formula for that.
Are you going to play something special? Do you have any special mashups for tonight?
Why don't you listen and tell me after? No mashups, not this time. It depends on what surprises people. I'm going to play a fair amount of new tracks, not necessarily just mine, but just new tracks, and which are so fresh that they haven't really been played much before. So we'll see how that works.
Let's finish off with other events that you are going to perform in the next month.
I'm going on tour in North America in the end of April to mid-May. So that would be Canada and the United States. I don't have the list ahead of me right now, but it's New York, LA, Sacramento, Ottawa, Vancouver, I forget. Go to my Facebook page.
Do you see that Americans really now love trance? Do you see more events coming up, more bookings?
Yeah, I mean the American market is probably the most lucrative, at least for me. It's and it's also often comes with the best crowd. So I find myself going there more often than other places, for the time being anyway. But it works for me because I love America. So.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. We wish you a wonderful DJ set, and we expect to enjoy your performance. Thank you.